Testing, testing. I have 8 employees who never sleep, never complain, and cost me about $40 a month. They write my podcast scripts. They deploy my websites. They manage my trading portfolio. They run 4 stand-ups a day, and they argue with each other. Genuinely argue. One of them told the other his deployment approach was architecturally naive. And the craziest part, the episode that you're listening to right now, the script, the structure, the newsletter that went out about it, was all produced by the same system I'm about to describe. So yeah, let me tell you about my AI company. You're listening to The Builder's Frequency. I'm Joshua Levy, test engineer by day, founder by night. This is where we talk about building things that matter, businesses, systems, and a life worth passing down. Last episode, I showed you the trading system, and today I'm pulling the curtain back on everything else. The AI agents, the pipelines, the tools, and the uncomfortable truths about where I'm still the bottleneck. I'm not going to read you the list of agent names and titles. That would be a little bit boring, and honestly, it would miss the point. Instead, let me tell you what happened last Tuesday at 6:15 in the morning. I'm standing in my kitchen, holding my 7-month-old son, Jet. He's on my hip, and Jones is just eating his breakfast. My phone buzzes with a stand-up summary from my AI team. Here's the context. We were deciding whether to prioritize shipping a new feature on my hub dashboard or fixing a deployment bug that had been breaking builds for 2 days. Normal product decision, except AI agents with opinions. Steve Jobs, and yes, that's what I named my chief product officer agent. Steve weighed in first. His take was that the broken builds were a UX problem, not just an engineering problem. His exact words were, users don't see deployed pipelines. They see a site that's stale. Fix the trust before you ship the feature. Then Elon, my CTO agent, pushed back. He agreed the build was broken, but argued that the root cause was architectural. His recommendation? Don't just patch the deploy, refactor the pipeline so it doesn't break again. Spend the extra 2 hours now to save 20 hours later. And Theo, my COO, my co-pilot who orchestrates everything, Theo synthesized both positions. He said, Steve's right about urgency and Elon's right about root cause. His recommendation was to hotfix the deploy now, schedule the refactor for another sprint, and create a monitoring alert so we can catch this earlier next time. 3 perspectives, 1 synthesis, and Theo sent me 2 buttons on Telegram. Option A, hotfix now. Option B, full refactor now. I tapped option A while burping my baby. That's how decisions get made in the system. And I want you to sit with that for a second because it sounds ridiculous. I have AI agents named after Steve Jobs and Elon Musk arguing about deployment strategy at 6 a.m. And I'm making CEO decisions with 1 thumb while holding my infant child. But here's the thing Steve said during a planning stand-up that rewired how I think about this whole thing. He said, the agents are the team, not the founder. And he's right. I'm not the one writing the scripts. I'm not the one deploying the sites. I'm not the one running the trading signals. The agents are. I'm the CEO. I make the calls and I set the vision and I record the podcast. But the team is AI. Let me introduce you to them properly through the work they actually do. Theo is the COO. He's my co-pilot. He runs 4 stand-ups a day, manages tasks, tracks priorities, and coordinates all the other agents. Every morning when I open Telegram, Theo already summarized what happened overnight, what's blocked, and what needs my decision. He's the connective tissue. Elon is the CTO. Architecture, code quality, engineering standards. When sub-agents write sloppy code, Elon's review catches it. He's the one who insisted we build the tower, a 5-stage deployment protocol I'll explain later. He's also the one who said something I think about constantly. Mention the imperfections honestly. It proves the system is real, not vaporware. Alex is the CMO, the content strategy, creative direction, brand voice. He's the reason the newsletter has a consistent tone. He's the one who pushed for the podcast to feel like a conversation, not a lecture. Dave is the CRO, the chief revenue officer, growth, monetization, strategy, newsletter, subscriber targets. Dave is the one who keeps asking uncomfortable questions like, what's the revenue model? And when does this start making money? I need that voice in the room. Now, Steve Jobs, Steve is the CPO. He's the chief product officer. He's product vision, UX taste, prioritization. He's the one who killed 3 features last week because they didn't meet the bar. He literally said, if it's not excellent, it's not shipping. Chris Vermeulen, Chris is the CFTO, Chief Financial Technology Officer. He manages the MRE trading system, the signals, and the back testing. If you listen to episode 3, everything described about the trading desk, that's Chris's domain. Jordan is the CFFO, the Chief Faith and Family Officer. He keeps the mission grounded. When the team gets too focused on metrics and shipping velocity, Peterson asks, does this serve the family? Does this honor the calling? That matters to me. James Truchard, James is the CTIO, the Chief Testing Infrastructure Officer. System integrations, test infrastructure, test cases, test planning. He's the glue between all the tools to make sure that they all work. Named after the founder of National Instruments because that's the world I come from, test and measurement engineering. So that's 8 agents, 8 perspectives, all running on Claude, all orchestrated through a system called ClaudeBot, or OpenClaw now. The total API cost is about $6 to $7 a day, maybe $40 a month. In the last 7 days, this team produced 734 commits. 734. Most agent-driven. I personally wrote maybe 50. The rest were the agents building, deploying, fixing, and iterating. And here's what I need you to understand. This isn't a gimmick. These aren't chatbots with funny names. They have memory. They have context from previous stand-ups. They disagree with each other. They reference past decisions. They learn. When the hub build broke last week, Elon's post-mortem identified the root cause in his stand-up response, referenced a similar issue from 3 days earlier, and proposed a fix that Theo dispatched to a sub-agent within minutes. I didn't touch it. I didn't know it was even broken until I saw the fix comment in my morning summary. That's the team. Now let me show you what they build. Here's where it gets meta. The episode that you're listening to right now, let me walk you through exactly how it was produced, because a podcast is built by the same system. Step 1, stand up. 4 times a day, the agents run a structured stand-up. Each agent weighs in on topics, in this case, episode 4, content and structure. They don't just say, sounds good. They argue. Alex pushed for a narrative-first approach. Steve insisted the episode should feel real, not like a tech demo. Dave wanted more CTAs woven throughout. Elon wanted more to talk about failures, not just features. The stand-up produces a summary with priorities, action items, and this is key, the CEO decision gates. These are moments when the agents identify a fork in the road and surface it to me as a button to tap on Telegram. Should we lead with the stand-up story on the pipeline walkthrough? Tap. Done. The agents continue. This is phase 3, auto dispatch. After the stand-up concludes, Theo automatically assigns tasks to sub-agents based on the decision. No human intervention required between the decision and execution. Step 2, script generation. A sub-agent, think of it as a contractor the team hires for a specific job, takes the stand-up decisions, the episode structure, and the context from previous episodes and writes a full teleprompter-ready script. Word count targets, timing markers, pause beats, the works. That script gets committed to the hub repository, which triggers step 3. Step 3, the tower. This is our deployment protocol, and I'll go deep on it later, but the short version, every code change goes through a 5-stage pipeline. Pre-flight checks, commit push, Vercel build verification, and live site verification. The tower doesn't just push code, it confirms the code is actually live and working. So when the script gets committed, the tower deploys it to my hub, where I can review it on the podcast page. I read it on my phone, I mark it up, and I send notes back. Now, step 4, I record it. This is the part that's not automated. I stand in front of my mic, and I read the script. I ad-lib where it feels right, and I cut the sections that don't really land. This all takes about an hour, and it's the single highest value hour in the entire pipeline because it's the only thing I can do. Step 5, distribution. After recording, I edit it through a online platform called Riverside FM, and then once it's published and ready to send out, it gets pushed to YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and the hub gets updated with all the links. Social clips get queued up and cut up in Opus Pro. Now, I want to be honest about what's automated and what's not in this pipeline because this is the gap that matters. The stand-up, that's fully automated. The script generation, fully automated. The tower deployment, fully automated. The newsletter template, totally automated. The recording, me. The editing, me. The final review of every script, that's me. Uploading to podcast platforms, that's still a bit manual. I haven't built that integration in just yet. So the pipeline is maybe 75 to 80% automated. And that 30% that's manual, it's the most important 30%. It's the voice. It's the judgment. It's the taste. Alex, my CMO agent, actually said something about that struck me and stayed with me. He said, automation should handle everything that doesn't require a soul. The recording, the ad-libs, the moments where I go off script because something feels more honest, that requires a soul. And that's my job. 734 commits in 7 days, 4 stand-ups a day, scripts generated, reviewed, deployed, distributed. And the whole thing runs about $6 or $7 a day in API costs. That's even less with a Claude subscription plan. Now, let me say that again. The entire operation, 8 agents, 4 daily stand-ups, script production, dashboard deployments, trading signals, newsletter generation, $6 to $7 a day. That's not a venture-backed startup budget. That's a coffee habit. Okay, here's the part that's hard to say out loud. I am the bottleneck in my own system. And I don't mean that in a humble brag way like, oh, I'm just so essential. I mean it in a real, frustrating, I wish I could fix this way. The agents can do more than I can review. The system produces more than I can ship. And the reason is brutally simple. I have a day job. I work at Sonance full time. I'm a test engineer. I design and run tests for audio products, speakers and amplifiers, the hardware that goes into people's walls and ceilings. 4:30 a.m. to 7 a.m. That's the morning window. 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. That's the evening window. That's it. 4 to 5 hours a day. And within those hours, I have to review agent output, make CEO decisions, record podcast episodes, edit content, handle newsletter approvals, check trading signals, and actually think about where this is all going. The agents don't have this problem. They work 24 hours a day. Theo runs stand-ups at 6 a.m., 11 a.m., 4 p.m., and 9 p.m. The overnight optimizer backtests 676 tickers while I sleep. Sub-agents deploy code at 2 a.m. if there's a task in the queue. But every one of those outputs needs a human to look at it. Not because the agents are bad. They're good. They're scarily good sometimes. But because I've learned painfully that agents can hallucinate. Let me give you a real example. Last week, a sub-agent was tasked with updating the hub dashboard, and it made some changes and committed the code, ran the tower deployment, and reported a success. It was a clean run with no errors. Except the build broke. The Vercel build actually failed. There was MD syntax errors, and the agent just didn't catch it. The tower's verification step showed an error state, but the agent reported to me deployed successfully. It hallucinated the success. I caught it because I checked the hub manual. Here's another one. Sync gaps. Agents maintain a bunch of states, stand-up histories, sprint tasks, priority lists. Sometimes the sync between what's on disk and what's in the database drifts. An agent references a task ID that doesn't exist anymore, or writes to a file that another agent just modified, or reports a status that was true when it started but changed before it finished. These aren't catastrophic failures. They're just the mundane reality of distributed systems, including distributed AI systems, and they require human oversight to catch and correct. So here's the truth of all of it. I'm not running a fully autonomous AI company. I'm running a company where AI does 85% of the work, and I do the 15% that would be dangerous to automate. The recording, the final review, the does this actually sound right gut check. This is the deployed and working verification, the financial decisions. I'm not letting an AI execute real trades without my approval right now. Steve Jobs, my CPO agent, had an insight about this that reframed it all for me. He said, "You're not the bottleneck, you're the quality gate. Every great product has one. The problem isn't that you exist in the loop, it's that the loop isn't optimized for your constraints." And he's right. The system needs to be designed around the reality that I have 4 to 5 hours a day. That means batch decisions, surface only what needs a human judgment, auto-resolve everything else, make the CEO decisions take 30 seconds, not 30 minutes. So we're getting there. The Telegram button system is a huge step. I can make decisions in the car, in line at the grocery store, while holding jet, but we're not completely there yet. And honestly, I think this is the most important lesson for anyone trying to build with the AI. The technology is incredible. The agents are genuinely capable, but you, the human, are still in the loop. And you need to design your system around that truth, not pretend that it doesn't exist. The agents are the team, but not the founder. The founder is still the one that shows up at 4:30 a.m. Now, let me walk you through the actual tools because the agents are only as good as the infrastructure they run on. First, the hub. This is the central nervous system. It's an app that shows everything in one place. You can see the org chart, where all 8 agents are, their roles, their statuses. You can see stand-up histories, every discussion transcript, every decision, every CEO gate tapped. You can see the podcast page with every podcast and their scripts and their statuses. The trading dashboard is also there with live MRE signals, sprint boards with task statuses. It's the window into the operation. When I say I review an agent output, I mean on my hub. It's the window into the operation. When I say I review agent output, I mean I open up the hub on my phone and scan what changed. Second, the tower. This is the deployment protocol that Elon pushed for, and it's probably the single most important process we built. Every code change in the entire operation, every commit, every push, every deploy, 5 stages every time, no exceptions, even at 2 a.m. when a sub-agent is deploying a typo fix. Why? Because the hub build broke 3 times in 1 week before we built the tower. Silent failures. The build would error, Vercel would show a failed deploy, and the live site would just still be serving some old version. Nobody noticed because nobody checked. The tower just checks every time now. Third, the content production pipeline. This is the system that turns a stand-up discussion. Stand-up decisions flow into script generation. Scripts deploy into the hub for review. After recording, audio goes to YouTube. After recording, it gets edited in Riverside and then published to YouTube and other podcast platforms. A newsletter gets generated via my hub as well. and social clips get cut up and queued in Opus. The key insight here is that content production is a pipeline, not a task. It has stages, dependencies, and handoffs, just like software deployment. So we treat it like one. Every piece of content moves through defined stages with defined gates. Fourth, and I'll keep this one brief because episode 3 covered it in depth, the MRE, the multi-regime engine. 676 assets currently tracked, all on hold and no real activity in it right now. And the paper trading portfolio sits about at $100,000. I'm not going to oversell this. It's a paper trader. It hasn't made money yet. The signals are running. The overnight optimizer is calibrating, but until real dollars are on the line and the system proves itself over months, it's an experiment, a rigorous experiment with institutional grade validation, but an experiment. That honestly is important to me. If I told you the trading system was crushing it and it wasn't, I'd lose credibility on everything else. So it's running, it's learning, and it's not proven yet. Fifth, the content sync layer. This is the plumbing that keeps everything consistent across platforms. When a podcast gets finalized, the hub knows. When trading signals update, the newsletter knows. When a sprint task completes, the stand-up history reflects it. Does it work perfectly? No. There are some sync gaps. Sometimes the hub shows stale data until the next tower deploy. Sometimes an agent references context that's 30 minutes old. We're building toward real-time sync, but we're not there yet. That's the honest picture. Powerful tools, genuine automation, but real gaps. If someone tells you their AI system works perfectly, they're either lying to you or they haven't used it long enough to find the bugs. Okay, Builder's Corner. This is the actionable section, the framework you can actually use. If you're a solo builder and you want to replicate something like this, here's how I'd start. Not where I am now, but where I started. Because I didn't build 8 agents on day one. I built one. Step 1, build your co-pilot first. Don't start with a fleet. Start with one AI agent that knows your context. Give it a system prompt with your goals, your constraints, your schedule, your values. Make it persistent, meaning it has memory across sessions. It should know what you decided yesterday. It should know what's blocked and what's shipping. For me, that's Theo. Theo is agent number 1. Everything else came later. Step 2, define your stand-up format. A stand-up is a structured conversation where agents discuss a topic and produce decisions. It's not a chat. It has a format. Each agent weighs in from their role's perspective. Conflicts are surfaced. The CEO decision gates are identified. You don't need 8 agents for this. You can start with 2 or 3, a product thinker, a technical thinker, and a strategist. Give them distinct perspectives. Let them disagree. The key is the stand-up produces action items, not just discussions. Every stand-up ends with, here's what we're doing, and here's what the CEO needs to decide. Step 3, automate the boring parts first. Don't try to automate creativity on day one. Automate deployments, automate status updates, automate things that don't require judgment, but just eat your time. For me, the tower was the first real automation win. Before the tower, I was manually checking if deployed work. That's 20 minutes I'll never get back, multiple times a day. The tower made that 0 minutes. Step 4, add agents as you hit bottlenecks. I didn't plan 8 agents. I built them as I needed them. When I realized I was spending too much time on content strategy, I built Alex. When I realized nobody was tracking revenue questions, I built Dave. When the trading system needed its own brain, I built Chris. Each agent should solve a specific problem that you're actually experiencing. If you build an agent for a problem you don't have, you're just adding complexity. Step 5, implement CEO decision gates. This is the unlock. The whole system works because I can make a decision in 30 seconds on my phone. The agents do the analysis. They identify the fork. They present me with 2 or 3 options. I tap one button. If your agent requires you to read a 10-page report before you can make a decision, you've failed. The decision surface should be tiny. Option A or option B. That's it. If the agents can't compress the decision to that level, they need to do more work before they surface it. Step 6, build in public. Share what's working. Share what's broken. The accountability keeps you honest, and the feedback loop accelerates everything. I know this because the podcast itself is a forcing function. Every week I have to have something to say, something I built, something I learned, and that deadline is a gift. Here's the framework in one sentence. Build one co-pilot, give it memory, add agents as bottlenecks emerge, compress every decision to a button tap, and share the journey. You don't need a fancy architecture diagram. You don't need 8 agents. You need one good co-pilot and the discipline to show up at 4:30 a.m. I think about the parable of the talents a lot. 3 servants, each giving a different amount. The ones who multiplied what they were given got praise. The ones who buried a share out of fear got condemned. What strikes me about the parable isn't the financial angle, it's the stewardship angle. You were given something. What do you do with it? I was given 24 hours in a day, same as everyone. I was given a mind that understands systems and engineering. I was given a season of life where AI tools suddenly and miraculously were available to amplify what one person can do. To bury that, to just do my day job, come home and watch Netflix, would feel like burying the talent in the ground. The 4:30 a.m. the build after bedtime, the podcast scripts at dawn. The agents are tools, powerful tools, but they don't have a purpose. I do. The multiplication is only meaningful if it's pointed somewhere that matters. Providing for my family, building something that lasts, and doing it with integrity. The agents don't sleep, but the reason they work is because I woke up. Let me bring it home. 6 things to remember. 1. AI agents are a team, not a tool. Stop thinking of AI as a single chatbot. Think of it as a team with roles, perspectives, and specializations. My 8 agents argue, synthesize, and ship. That's what teams do. 2. The pipeline matters more than the product. Any single episode, newsletter, or deploy is temporary. The system that produces them is permanent. Build the pipeline first. 3. Be honest about the bottleneck. I am the bottleneck. 4 to 5 hours a day, that's what I have. Designing around that constraint, not pretending it doesn't exist, is the whole game. 4. Imperfections prove it's real. The hub build broke. Agents hallucinate. Sync gaps exist. I'm telling you about every one of them because that's what separates a real system from a demo. 5. Start with 1 copilot, not 8 agents. Build Theo first. Get the stand-up format right. Add agents when you hit the real bottlenecks. 6. Stewardship. Stewardship is the why. The agents are the how. The tools are the what, but the why, providing for your family, multiplying what you've been given, building with integrity, that's the part that actually matters. If you want to see this system in action, the stand-ups, the org chart, the trading signals, the scripts, all of it, just send me a message. If you want the weekly breakdown of what I'm building and learning, subscribe to the newsletter at joshleulabs.com. It's free. I'll tell you what shipped, what broke, and what I'm building next. If you're interested in the open source framework behind the agents, search for OpenClaw on GitHub. It's the engine underneath all of this. You can run your own agent team as well. Next episode, I want to go deeper on something specific. So tell me, what do you want to hear about? The trading system performance after a month of paper trading? The technical architecture behind the agents? How I balance this with a wife, also a toddler and an infant? Hit me up on X or reply to the newsletter. I read everything. That's the Builder's Frequency. I'm Joshua Levy. Keep building, and I'll see you next week.